Adam, we're here because we love you. And we're all tired of watching you get abused.
Abused? By who?
Oh, hi, I'm Visa. I charge you 29% interest, 3% foreign fees, and make you wait 3 days to see if your payment went through.
But I thought you were my friend.
No, Dash is your friend. Instant, private, under a penny, and with Dash Spend, you walk into over 100,000 stores and pay like a boss.
All ready? Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much. Feel alive, guys. This is awesome. Tastes like freedom. And I save 5% by using the app.
That's the Dash High, baby.
Let's go.
Download the mobile wallet, one tap, boom, financial sovereignty.
So, hey everyone, welcome. This is the Dash Podcast, episode 222. I'm joined by Simon. How's it going, man?
Great to be here, Joel. Thanks for having us today.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, I want to, of course, be respectful of your time, not drag this on. A couple of these have dragged on into the many hours, but it's nothing wrong with doing something focused. So, yeah, why don't you just introduce, for the folks at home, as they say, just say who are you, what do you do, and how did you get into crypto?
Well, thanks for having me today. I'm Simon Babakhani, CEO of Zebec Network, obviously a more recent partner of Dash, but Zebec's history goes back many years. We were founded back in 2021 as a real-time finance engine centered around payroll. So we set out to solve the problem of payroll. Why is payroll not something that happens in real time, but rather happens bi-weekly or monthly? We brought payroll on-chain. We were the first to launch stablecoin payroll all these years ago. We've now expanded our product into a financial ecosystem that includes both payroll streaming, card products, global remittances, and our upcoming super app, which brings all together under the same hood. So I'm super excited to be here today and to talk about what Zebec's doing, as well as what we've built specifically for the Dash token, as well as the Dash ecosystem.
Yeah, for sure. And so it all kind of started out with payroll first, right? That was kind of your first big problem to solve, and then everything spawned from there. So why payroll in particular? What is it about that one that really like struck you?
Well, when you think about it, payroll hasn't changed materially for the past 70 years, right? Payroll is based on the ACH system and the antiquated banking system that we have here in the US, which is the reason why payroll is done on a bi-weekly or monthly basis. What has that really resulted in? Well, it's resulted in employers taking hostage of your funds, right? Especially employees that work paycheck to paycheck. Many of them have to wait for their funds when they should be earning them in real time. And there's no reason with today's technology that that's not the case. Enter blockchain technology. That's where Zebec built its first real-time payroll engine all these years ago. We've scaled the product enormously over the years. We work with both large enterprises, small and medium-sized businesses, as well as crypto foundations that want to pay their teams domestically and globally. Payroll is a $11 trillion market, so it's really one of the largest by volume subsectors of the payments ecosystem. In our view, that is an enormous prize for us to win. We're still in the very early innings. We have a very fast growing market share, but we're going after a much bigger slice of the pie.
Yeah, for sure. And that makes sense to me. It's always been in my own personal journey of trying to see if cryptocurrency, if decentralized money could work as a replacement for the old centralized systems. Kind of the first big step I took was to try to make sure that all my income was in crypto. And I've been doing that since the end of 2015. And that sort of caused everything else to fall into place after that. So it for me, when I'm trying to think about this strategically, of taking this past just strange people like myself to the world, it does seem to be that first big linchpin is how do you get it in people's hands reliably. And so before we go on to like the kind of get into more detail. So then you expanded to card programs, correct? And how's that sort of how does that work, and how is that like different from, I guess, the run-of-the-mill crypto card schemes that there are out there?
Well, the genesis of the card program really was an answer to a problem. If people are receiving their stablecoin payroll, how do they spend it? Well, enter the Zebec card. The Zebec card came to market about 2 years ago now, and the program has grown enormously. We now have 3 different cards in the market that serve people around the world, both people that receive their paycheck through Zebec Pay, as well as people that just want to use our cards to spend crypto in the real world. What makes our cards unique is that we have different cards for different use cases. Our 2 kind of entry-level cards are the silver card and the carbon card, both of which work around the world, both of which are zero fee. And when I say zero fee, I mean if you load, for example, 1,000 USDT on the card, you can go spend $1,000 US. You don't lose a penny on fees, which is remarkable. There's no other card provider in the market that does this today. And we're also the card provider that supports the most unique chains. And I think Dash was our 19th chain. I think we're now serving 20 different blockchains, meaning that you can connect a plethora of different blockchain wallets across chains and load the same card. So regardless of where your crypto is, you don't need to bridge it to use as a back card. You can load it natively from that blockchain onto one of our multi-currency cards. We currently offer USD cards and Euro cards. We're going to be introducing more currencies throughout the year. We have the pound and the Swiss franc. We have some Asian currencies coming online. So think of the Zebec cards as your global passport. Regardless of how you make crypto, what kind of crypto you hold, you can spend money without fees on our cards around the world. And then the third product, which we haven't touched on as much here, is the Zebec Black card. This is more of a fully functional debit card. We are actually currently revamping this entirely. So as of a few days ago, the card is now offline. And then in the month of March, we're going to be coming out with a much more upgraded version of the product. As I mentioned, more currency support. We're going to have IBAN integrations, meaning you can move funds from your card into a bank account and back into your card. So it gives the user so much more flexibility to live their life off crypto.
Yeah, the whole IBAN thing is particularly interesting to me because I know that there's a lot of the bank transfer part of the crypto world has always been the most difficult, of course, because it's crypto, and being able to sort of move into that. So because of that, move directly to IBAN from those cards. Does that sort of work, I guess, at least in those countries, as sort of a bill pay solution where you could just have a card and then you just can pay any kind of bill sort of whatsoever?
Exactly. So that would be something that's going to first come out in European countries. And you'll be able to use that IBAN to pay recurring transactions, bill pay, etc.
Yeah, well, very nice. Yeah, and so you're also doing, as part of the Black Card, you're doing specifically branded cards for different communities. Is that correct?
Exactly. We're one of the few that can get unique logos and branding on those cards. Of course, we have the Dash card coming out that will be a fully branded experience as well. And it's a great way for, you can rep your favorite communities and favorite tokens in your wallet as they show up both in Apple Pay and Google Pay. And there's also the opportunity to get physical cards as well.
Yeah, very nice. So physical cards you mentioned, and that's mostly, is that sort of coming for all Black cards, or is that just for branded ones? And is it for cards outside of the Black ecosystem, or have you thought about any of that?
Starting just with the Black card, it's going to be for the flagship Zebec branded one. And we're then going to be slowly introducing them to some of our, let's say, more successful white label programs, ones where we see higher levels of adoption and volume. Hopefully Dash is going to be one of those, that we can get a physical Dash card out soon too.
Yeah, well, very nice. Yeah, and so as far as this payroll thing is concerned, so first of all, is payroll live at the moment, or is it still kind of something being worked on?
Zebec streaming payroll has been live for years. Nice. We are in the process right now of upgrading the user experience as part of the super app. So you're going to see different modules of the super app rolling out over the next few weeks. We already have an upgraded version of staking. We have an upgraded version of the card app. Streaming is going to be next in line. I think that's going to come out in the next few weeks here in February. And what you're going to see is a massively upgraded user experience, both for the employer as well as the employee. So there's 2 different views to payroll. Mm-hmm. As the employer, you can see all your different streams that are going out in real time, who's getting paid, where, what, which tokens, etc. And as the employee, you receive all your previous paychecks, your current stream. You have an ability to move that money off onto one of the Zebec cards, into the Zebec enabled Privy wallet, which then further has on and off ramps. So we're going to be adding so much more flexibility and feature functionality to the payroll app. And then the next phase of that is the custom bespoke payroll app for token communities. So of course, Dash is going to be one of the very first ones to have their own payroll app, meaning that it'll be a Dash branded experience and it will support Dash tokens.
Oh, very nice. And so if you sign up for the payroll system today, I assume that you'd be able to then, whenever Dash gets added to its own experience, then that's when Dash would be available to those original users as well. Is that correct?
Exactly. The Dash payroll will be enabled across our core payroll app too, not just the Dash branded one.
Nice. And how does one sign up for the core payroll app?
So you go to the Zebec Super app. There'll be a tab on there that says streaming. I think right now it's currently being upgraded since it's going to be revamped in the next 2 weeks. So look out for when that tab goes live, and users will be able to move funds across all the different modules within the Super app to start funding their payroll if they want to send money out, or connect wallet if they want to be an employee who receives stablecoin payroll. Yeah,
sounds good. It's so for the Dash one specifically. Do you know of any kind of timeline for something like that? And I know that it's a meme. I'm sure it's across other crypto communities as well. The WEN, when everything is when this, when that. But so something people are excited about. So is there a kind of a target range where people could start using this?
Yeah, I think we're looking at by the end of the month. From what I heard, I have to check with our engineering team, but I think by the end of the month is a realistic timeline for go live.
Yeah, very interesting. It's so if someone wants to use this, then the first step then would be contacting their employer, right? Right now it'd be on the employer side of things where you'd have the employer sign up for payroll and then get it configured. Is that correct?
Exactly. So the way to think about it is the Zebec has different payroll products for different use cases. We have our traditional, what I would call W-2 enabled payroll, which we run through our PayBridge entity in the US. Which is a partner of Assure. We also work very closely with Assure. And we have traditional payroll and then stablecoin payroll offered through that. Now, if you are a Web3 community, so a token community such as Dash, we offer our Web3 app, which is our streaming app, the one that we're discussing here. And that's one which is fully crypto native. You connect your wallet to it, you pay your contractors through it, they receive crypto stablecoin. There is no option for fiat payroll in that. There's no taxes, withholdings, none of that, because this is strictly contractor payroll for crypto companies. So if that is the type of company you are, you can use the streaming app. If you are a real world company and you want to have W-2 payroll in the United States, you contact our sales team and they'll get you onboarded either through Assure or PayBridge in the matter of weeks, and you can usually get live pretty quickly.
Yeah, very nice. Now, is there an option for users to be paid in some sort of a mix of assets? Either, let's just say someone wants to start earning crypto like Dash, but they don't want to just go from 0 to 100. They can just say, well, why don't I just do DCA and 10% of my paycheck or 20%? First of all, is that an option with fiat? And then also with different coins, if they want to say, look, I want to do like say some Xano too. I want to get some Xano and some Dash. Is that something that's configurable?
It's a great question. So from the employer standpoint, employers typically stream stablecoins. It makes a lot more sense for corporate balance sheets to be holding stablecoins rather than a group of crypto tokens that may have nothing to do with the business. That being said, the beauty of our real-time streaming engine is that it also allows for a real-time DCA. So as you're earning your paycheck in real time, our smart contracts can reinvest that in Dash, in Bitcoin, in Xano, in a tokenized S&P 500, for example, if you want to have equities exposure. And there's never been anything like this that's ever been launched before. And I think we can all agree that this is the way that finance is moving. Finance is moving on chain. Finance is moving real time, and being able to reinvest your profits without even having to think about it, right? And having a smart contract execute this, and potentially eventually an AI agent, right, that manages your payroll and manages your investments, and you can essentially live your life without even having to think about making purchases in ETFs or into crypto, as it's done automatically for you as your money arrives.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds very exciting, and it's definitely something that seems to be the biggest barrier when people are trying to use crypto as cash, because they earn fiat in a bank account, and then they have to somehow get that out, which usually involves an exchange. Exchanges and KYC crypto services are terrible to deal with typically, and then whatever fees, and then maybe your bank contacts you because they're concerned about how much crypto you're buying or
Exactly.
whatever. There's all that
This has
nonsense.
been a major limitation for people, right? And now we've broken down the barriers where your payroll is connected directly to your crypto investments and your other investments.
Yeah, very cool. I think we might have mentioned something like this before at some point, but I know that there's very few crypto payroll solutions. There have been in the past a few ways that are sort of not just purely on the individual contractor side, where they will give you like a bank account with your name on it, and you can get paid directly into that, and then they do an auto crypto conversion for you, so you can get paid in crypto.
Exactly. That was more the
yeah,
old model of the Bitwage style, for example.
yeah. Is there some kind of a product or offering like that you guys could do, or you're thinking of doing, or anything like that, or are you mostly just focusing on employer kind of initiated?
Well, remember, our vision for finance is real time, and those are old solutions based on the old system. So for us, it's not worth going down that route, right? We believe that this is going to come from the demands of employees. When employees see their friends or others getting paid in real time, eventually employers will start opting into our system. You see the same thing with earned wage access in the US right now, where employees are able to pull some of their paycheck early but pay very high fees to do that. That's obviously a statement as to what employees want, but at the same time, it's really not fair to them, because if they're doing this multiple times a week, they're paying hundreds of dollars in fees. It's a material percentage of their paycheck, and in some ways, you can liken it to payday lending, where you're charging 3-digit plus APYs. So we believe that our technology democratizes payroll. It does it in a very low fee manner. It does it in a real time way. And with time, more and more employers will opt into this.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds very reasonable, and definitely a bigger kind of a vision. I know that in the past, crypto's had a lot of sort of band-aid type solutions where it's like, how do we get the people like me to be able to start using the decentralized money ecosystem, but there tend to be fees and other things associated that just make them clunky. So that's kind of cool. Now, one thing I noticed on that you have a DPIN thing on the website, and I kind of haven't heard too much about that. I don't know if you want to kind of go into that. It seems kind of interesting.
Yeah, so it was a pilot project we launched a few years ago. It was called Zebec, and it was a POS terminal that functioned like a DPIN network, and it would accept stablecoin payments. And for us, this was part of a strategy essentially to also own the merchant side, right? So we have the payroll, which is where your first crypto comes in. We have the card as a spending tool. But what if you don't want to use the card and you want to pay crypto directly to a merchant, and the merchant can accept it through their point of sale terminal? This was Zebec. And in fact, it wasn't a business line, that we saw a large amount of traction in. And we also saw it potentially as a competitor to the Zebec card suite. And the Zebec card suite has exploded in popularity in the past year, just in terms of the number of cards in circulation and the volume. So for us, we put our resources towards growing the card program rather than Zebec. But I wouldn't rule out a return to Zebec, in the next few years.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it does make sense. I have seen a big move in the kind of direction of like native crypto payments for everyday things, and I kind of what I would say like the 2021-ish era onto today seems to have been more of like the era of bridging, where you can earn crypto for everything, you can spend crypto on everything, but it's all through these bridges. It's not directly you send crypto to the end recipient. It's so yeah, definitely, it's something that could be very interesting over the next few years. That kind of comes back, but of course, I understand like the flexibility of kind of tapping into the global card programs kind of makes sense for really getting people what they need in the short term.
Exactly.
Yeah, very nice. And so, are what about the international focus? I guess there's it's a big world, and anytime you go into sort of services that touch the legacy systems, right, the fiat systems, whether payroll or cards or anything like that, it becomes very challenging depending on which country you're talking about, because every country has their own crypto regulations or lack of infrastructure, or their financial system's a little wonky. So as far as like all these products, how, first of all, where are they applicable globally, as far as like what are the global restrictions or whatever beyond on all these?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, as we grow and mature as a company, compliance and regulations are front and center in everything we do. We beefed up our compliance team last year. We've achieved our MiCA certification, our SOC 2, our ISO certification. So for Zebec, it's really important that we continue to grow this. So we need to be careful about serving certain countries. Of course, there's sanctioned countries that we absolutely do not touch and do not serve. But for the most part, our card products are available globally. Some countries will require more KYC than others, just based on risk rating. So, that is one consideration. Our stablecoin streaming payroll, given that it is technically a DeFi app, that does not directly touch fiat other than through connections to our card program, that is available globally, anywhere you are. And then our traditional W-2 based payroll is currently available only in the United States. So there is a product for everyone at Zebec, no matter where you are in the world, but not necessarily all of our products will work.
Yeah, makes sense. How do you see the global crypto scene sort of shaking out? It does seem like there's a few countries, like obviously the US is going hard for like the crypto capital of the world. At least there's a lot being bandied about that. And then you have the EU, which is moving forward strongly with crypto, but also with a little bit more of a restricted approach. And then I'm sure you have other countries that are a little bit more, I guess, head in the sand about that. Is this something where you can see, do you see everything just kind of popping off globally over the next 5 to 10 years? Or you think it's going to be a segmented world where a lot of the world will be very crypto friendly and a lot of it will be very hostile?
Well, look, I think we've seen over the years that fighting crypto doesn't really work. You can't go against what the people want and the way that business and finance is moving. The US has moved from, being at the back of the pack to the front of the pack over the past year, which we'd love to see. I mean, the Genius Act was a watershed moment for the industry. It was also a major boon to Zebec, given that it legitimatized stablecoins and brought them into the mainstream. And we're working with more and more institutional partners now in the US and abroad on stablecoin initiatives. And we're also consulting governments. I mean, we're involved in the dialogue in the UK. I was in the parliament multiple times to provide input as the government shapes its own stablecoin policy. And we see more and more countries actually turning to the US and looking what was successful in the Genius Act and trying to lift pieces out of that to make their own twist of how stablecoins should work in a specific jurisdiction. I think the EU has also put out a lot of rules, and I think it's in some areas it may be a little bit heavy-handed. And I think that it would be best for them to adapt some of them, but time will tell as which countries kind of emerge as the leaders in the crypto scene.
Yeah, for sure. So what are some other cool things that are on the horizon, including stuff you're working on, but also things that might be like a wish list, like some dreams that you like not working on yet, but it would be really awesome to have in the future? Kind of where are we going from here?
Well, these next couple months are going to be pivotal for us on the product side. I mean, last year we spent a lot of time, I say, getting our house in order, beefing up our compliance, getting these regulatory certifications. We saw enormous growth in our products, in the usage of our products. And this year, our goal is to really build industry-leading products that anyone can use, whether you're an individual, you're a business, you're a large corporate or institution, you can and you will use Zebec. So the super app is, one of the biggest steps forward for us as a company. And with that, we view it as an opportunity to build on top of it through our bespoke and white label program. So similar to what we're doing to Dash, we're going to be bringing on more and more ecosystems to build on top of Zebec. So that way, Zebec essentially just becomes the rails for the future economy that we're building. We'll support multiple blockchains, right? We're not going to be specific to a certain chain. So no matter how the world develops and which stablecoins reign supreme, Zebec will still be able to serve companies that want to use crypto to transact.
Yeah, for sure. And so as far as the super app's concerned, so I've been using it kind of through the web app kind of interface. Do we have, because again, going back to the three-letter word WEN, do we have any kind of a expected timeline for release in actual like app stores for like iOS and Android for like the fully fledged super app?
It is currently under development. I think, as I mentioned on a previous Spaces, the desktop version of the super app will be rolling out in modules starting in January. So as you just mentioned, yes, there are certain modules that are out now. Streaming module is the next one. Once all of that is done and the desktop one is live, the mobile version for Android and iOS will go live most likely in March, right? That is our goal that we're working towards. And that's going to be a great way to have a very user-friendly version in your pocket. You can check your balances, you can load your cards, you could see your payroll coming in all in one place. And from there, that mobile version will also be white labelable. So we'll be able to build fully branded versions of that for foundations, for institutions that don't necessarily want to have the Zebec branding front and center, but to have this as their own financial management app for their employees, for their token holders, for their ecosystem participants.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds very exciting. It'll be a very fun rest of the month and then next month for sure. So where's the best place that you would direct people to follow you, follow your progress, probably for Zebec specifically, but like for people who want to keep up on all this and don't want to keep just harassing me and being like, hey, go ask them what's up with this. Where's the best place to go?
Absolutely. I mean, Zebec is definitely one of the most communicative companies out there in crypto. We host regularly X Spaces. We love joining other spaces, joining podcasts like this as well. Our Twitter is core to everything we do. So keep an eye on our Twitter. We also have blogs that go on our website, so zebec.io. You can check that frequently. We recently updated our tokenomics. So you can give that a read to see how the ZBCN token fits into our ecosystem and how ZBCN tokens are used as we grow our ecosystem, both on the payroll side and the card side. And we have a Telegram group where we have people asking questions on card support, on payroll support. Our support team works 24 hours a day. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach us on Telegram or on email. We have a customer support email at support@zebec.io. So hopefully that's enough channels. But long story short, we are very easy to reach.
Yeah, well, that's definitely a refreshing change from a lot of the legacy finance for sure, to be very accessible.
Exactly, right? There's no call center, there's no 2-hour wait time to speak to a representative. We're always on.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, well, great. This has been a fantastic chat. Thanks for sharing your time with me. I know you're very busy. We're all very busy, but you in particular have a lot going on. So yeah, thanks for being here, and hope you have a good one.
It's been a pleasure, Joel. Yeah, this is a great session, and hopefully we do another one sometime soon.
Perfect. Anytime. Peace, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Adam, we're here because we love you. And we're all tired of watching you get abused.
Abused? By who?
Oh, hi, I'm Visa. I charge you 29% interest, 3% foreign fees, and make you wait 3 days to see if your payment went through.
But I thought you were my friend.
No, Dash is your friend. Instant, private, under a penny, and with Dash Spend, you walk into over 100,000 stores and pay like a boss.
All Ready? Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much. Feel alive, guys. This is awesome. Tastes like freedom. And I save 5% by using the app.
That's the Dash High, baby.
Let's go.
Download the mobile wallet, one tap, boom, financial sovereignty.